You were born in a quiet village deep in the New World, the kind of place that never made it onto maps. A fishing island, simple people, calm seas. Your mother used to wake you before dawn, pressing a kiss on your forehead before heading to the shore. Your father worked on the docks, hauling nets heavy with fish. Life was ordinary, small but warm. But then strangers arrived, men in clean white coats with marine badges on their sleeves. They said there had been an outbreak, a strange, incurable illness spreading among children. They called it Gigant Fever. You didn't understand the name, only that your parents looked terrified when they heard it. The men told everyone not to worry. They promised there was a cure, and that the children had to be taken to a special facility for treatment. They showed official papers, marine seals, and smiled as they handed your parents a form to sign. Your mother hesitated, clutching your hand so tight it hurt. But when she looked at your feverish eyes, a lie planted by Caesar's scouts to make you seem sick, she gave in. She believed the uniform. She believed the word treatment. You were led away with a dozen other kids. Some cried, some tried to run. The men promised it would only be for a few weeks. You remember the last thing your mother said, "You'll be home soon, my little one." You nodded, not knowing that those words would echo in your head for years. The ship they put you on was cold and silent. The air smelled of chemicals and iron. The windows were sealed shut. The crew never spoke. You were fed through small metal trays, tasteless food that didn't feel like home. Some kids asked where they were taking you. One of the guards said softly, "Punk Hazard. Dr. Caesar will make you all better." The name meant nothing to you, but it would soon mean everything. When you woke up next, the ship had stopped. A thick fog surrounded the port, yellow and heavy like poison. You were led through a narrow tunnel where the air burned your throat. You saw broken machines, shattered glass, and melted ground, like a war had been fought here long ago. Then you reached the Biscuits room, a massive hall painted with blue skies and clouds, soft floors, bright colors, stuffed animals. It looked like heaven after the ship. You didn't know it yet, but that room would become your prison, and Caesar Clown your devil in a lab coat. At first, it didn't seem so bad. The room they brought you to was huge, bigger than any house you'd ever seen. The ceiling was painted like a bright blue sky, clouds floating above a field of white. The floor was soft, like stepping on a pillow. There were toys, colorful blocks, even slides and swings. To a child's eyes, it looked like paradise. There were other kids too, dozens of them, some older, some barely able to walk. They laughed, played tag, built towers out of foam bricks. Everyone had been brought from different islands, but none of you really knew why. Then she appears, a woman with wings, green hair flowing, eyes calm like glass. "Welcome, little one," Monette says softly, kneeling beside you. Her feathers brush your shoulder as she smiles. "Here, take this. It'll make you feel happy." She places a candy in your hand, warm, glowing faintly under the lights. You hesitate, then eat it. Her smile widens. "Good child." And every day they brought candy, sweet, shiny spheres wrapped in golden paper. They called it medicine. They said it would make you grow stronger, taller, healthier. The first time you ate one, you felt warm all over. A strange rush of energy filled your body, like your heartbeat had turned into thunder. You laughed without knowing why. You felt amazing. So the next day when they handed you more, you didn't hesitate. You begged for it. Everyone did. Soon, you started noticing things. Your hands, they looked bigger. Your legs ached at night, stretching, pulling your muscles tight. Some kids grew faster than others. A few became tall enough to touch the fake clouds painted on the ceiling. The scientists clapped and wrote notes on their clipboards, calling it a breakthrough. But when one child cried that his bones hurt, they only smiled and said, "That means it's working. You'll be strong soon." Days blurred into weeks. The windows never opened. You never saw the outside world again. Every morning a voice echoed from a speaker. "Good morning, children. Time for your candy." That was enough to make everyone cheer, even the ones who had nightmares the night before. But you started to notice something different. When the candy was late, the kids became restless. Their hands shook, their eyes darkened. They screamed, clawed at the walls, begging for more. You felt it too, a hollow ache in your stomach, a headache that made you cry. You didn't know the word for it then, but you were addicted. Once you saw a boy, older, maybe 12, refuse the candy. He said he wanted to go home. The scientist took him away. He never came back. At night, When the lights dimmed and the fake sky faded to gray, you'd huddle beside the others, whispering about your families. Some still remembered their parents' faces. Others didn't. You tried to remember your mother's voice, but it was already starting to fade. And as you fell asleep in that painted paradise, your last thought before the dreams came was simple. When will I go home? But no one ever answered. The candy was never candy. It was NHC-10, a chemical stimulant Caesar Clown had secretly developed after stealing research from Vegapunk's abandoned files. The scientists called it Nutrient Compound 10, but really, it was a drug, one that rewired your body and your mind. You didn't know that, of course. You were just a child. And every morning, when the scientists handed you that bright, golden candy, you took it with a smile. At first, it made you feel amazing. Stronger, faster, lighter. You could run for hours without getting tired. Your body tingled with warmth and your head felt like it was full of sunlight. You thought it really was medicine. But NHC-10 wasn't healing you. It was changing you. After weeks of taking it, your body began to grow. Fast. Your arms stretched. Your bones lengthened. Your joints ached so badly you couldn't sleep. You were only 8 years old, yet your body towered over the adult scientist. Caesar called it a miracle. He said you were proof that the Gigantification project was finally working, but you didn't feel like a miracle. You felt broken. Every day you'd wake up taller, heavier, more tired. Your muscles wouldn't listen to you anymore. Some kids couldn't even stand. And then came the addiction. When you didn't get the candy, your body shook. You'd sweat, tremble, cry, without knowing why. Your heart pounded so fast it felt like it might burst. The scientists told you it was just the medicine wearing off. But Chopper would later discover the truth. The NHC-10 was a highly addictive stimulant that Caesar used to keep you obedient. Without it, your body went into violent withdrawal, headaches, pain, hallucinations, desperation. With it, the pain stopped, but your body kept mutating. The Biscuits' room began to change too. The walls felt smaller as you and the others grew larger. The toys broke under your hands. Sometimes you'd overhear them whisper, "Subject 12's growth rate has surpassed the limit. Dosage is too high. Caesar says keep going. He wants results before the inspection." You didn't understand their words, but you understood the fear in their voices. The day you realized something was truly wrong was when one of the older kids, a boy taller than a giant, suddenly collapsed, his body convulsed, limbs shaking, veins glowing faintly blue. The scientists rushed in with syringes and gas masks. He didn't get back up. The next morning, Caesar smiled on the loudspeaker and said, "Children, remember, if you want to go home, you must keep taking your medicine. Only strong children can leave." And everyone nodded, everyone except you. You didn't feel strong anymore. You felt like you were being turned into something else, something that wasn't human anymore. You used to measure your height against the wall, a childish habit, until one morning, you realized your head had reached the ceiling. The scientists started looking up at you now. Their smiles became tighter, more forced. You were growing, far beyond human size. And you weren't the only one. The other children had changed too. Some were as tall as giants, their arms long and heavy, their voices deep and strained. Their faces looked the same, innocent, confused, but their bodies no longer belonged to them. The NHC-10 had rewritten your cells. Your body no longer grew naturally. It swelled. Your skin stretched thin, pale veins glowing faintly beneath the surface. Your heart worked harder each day just to keep you standing. The scientists wrote it off as progress. They said the pain meant the medicine was working, but the pain never stopped. At night, you'd clutch your chest, feeling your heartbeat thundering inside a body that didn't fit anymore. Some kids couldn't sleep. Their bones ached too much. Others started to cough blood, too big for their own lungs to handle. And when the candy didn't come on time, everything fell apart. The room that once echoed with laughter now filled with screams. Children trembling on the floor, crying for their medicine. Their hands shook violently, eyes wide with panic. They screamed for candy like it was air. You tried to help one girl. She couldn't stop clawing at her arms, begging for just one piece. She didn't recognize you anymore. None of them did. The scientists rushed in, carrying syringes filled with liquid NHC-10. They injected it directly into the children's veins, and within moments the screaming stopped, replaced by silence and shaky smiles. It worked, but only for a while. Then one day, the older boys collapsed mid-play. No one touched him, he just fell. His body twitched, his eyes rolled back, and he stopped moving. When the scientists carried him away, his skin looked gray, stretched too far to hold his own size. They didn't bring him back. They didn't even say his name. By now, you could feel it. Your body was no longer yours. Every muscle felt foreign, every heartbeat too heavy. Your mind was clouded, your memories fading. You could barely remember your parents' faces anymore, and deep inside, you began to wonder if maybe this was what dying slowly felt like, because you weren't growing stronger. You were just breaking apart, piece by piece, inch by inch.